Andy.
Randy?
Randy. Like Northern, isn't he? Randy.
We'll call him Randy Pitchford, and then every reference afterwards, Randy. Randy told Eurogamer. Don't you just love it when the well-known developer of several crappy video games has to take to Twitter to generate interest in their latest dying game?
Randy Pitchford, the head of Gearbox Studios and a man whose name is a joke that writes itself, proved again to be one of the most ridiculed people in the games industry. Just a few days ago, Pitchford tweeted about his discovery of a Rule 34 subreddit based on Gearbox's game Battleborn. And if you don't know what Rule 34 is, which I didn't know myself.
Porn.
Porn applies to everything. If you can think of something, then there's the porn of it.
Yeah.
Users responded with screenshots featuring copies of Battleborn in bargain bins, as well as figures about the game's dwindling player base. Then, Overwatch fans threw their hat into the ring, mocking him about Battleborn's failure. Overwatch fans also flooded the Battleborn-themed subreddit with posts featuring Overwatch characters adding insult to injury. Overwatch porn is just better than battle porn.
That's just the internet argument. It's porn and video games, and this porn about this video game is better than that porn about that video game.
They're right, though. This is because Overwatch and Battleborn released at similar times and were seen as competitors to each other despite being very different games. A competition which Overwatch won hands down. Or hands down your pants, you might say.
Oh, good effort there, guys. The porn thing aside, I mean, Battleborn was just dead on arrival. I mean, from all accounts, it was a decent game. You know, a lot of reviews that I kind of follow had positive things to say about it, other than the fact there was zero player base. No one was playing it. It looked very similar to Overwatch. All of these kind of hero-based multiplayer shooters came out very similar times, like Paragon I think was one as well as, and Battleborn was decent, but it just died. It didn't last.
Apparently the game was so bad that it went on sale really soon after it got released, and it was in a humble bundle. Not that games necessarily are bad in humble bundles, but it just goes to show
so
that
quickly,
you know.
Yeah.
So apparently more people are watching porn than playing this
Overwatch
game.
porn as well, probably, because it's better apparently.
The game's so bad, even the porn doesn't do that well.
Yeah. The tweet, which pretty much came out of nowhere by Pitchford, was described by commenters as an attempt to draw more attention to his dead game, with one commenter playfully mocking Pitchford about how there are more people posting to the porn thread than there was actually playing the game. The thread has since been completely wiped, and all of the criticism levelled at Pitchford has been removed. This kind of thing isn't new, however, as threads criticising Pitchford and Gearbox for their role in the creation of video game shit parades like Duke Nukem Forever and Aliens Colonial Marines were also deleted back during the release of those games. In an interview with Eurogamer back in 2015, Pitchford even tried to defend Duke Nukem and Aliens, saying that they were in fact misunderstood masterpieces, and he continues to say that they were good games to this day. So it's really no surprise that this man is trying desperately to revive interest in Battleborn.
Sorry, Randy, you just have to let this one go, as well as whatever you've got in your hand. Now that's just the no all over, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. Anytime anything is not quite working, no.
Anytime the joke doesn't connect,
because that's
so the no.
Because they just fucking leave it in.
Okay, try one more. Surely there's a decent joke in there somewhere. There's got to be a
That's
joke.
how desperate we are for a wank pun. We just can't move on. In less masturbatory news this week, kind of, in a Reddit AMA, Valve founder Gabe Newell answered questions from fans about everything from Steam customer support, HTC Vive, and even new games. This is not a drill. One Redditor asked if there are any new games in the pipeline, to which jokingly Newell replied, "The number 3 must not be mentioned." Talking, of course, about Half-Life 3. Newell hinted at a future game set in either the Half-Life or Portal series, and when asked whether Valve was working on any single-player games, he simply replied, yes.
Which will be getting many a gamer harder than the previous story.
Try that, Randy. Make Half-Life 3.
And also in news this week, with all the hype and discussion surrounding the Nintendo Switch reveal, it was only a matter of time until everyone threw their opinions into the ring. Video games analyst Michael Pachter decided to share his thoughts on the Switch as well. The two biggest concerns that Pachter has about the Switch are in regards to its fairly high price point and the lackluster selection of games available at launch, which, if you ask me, is pretty nailed on.
Yeah, people like this who often speak with kind of, they're a bit preachy and they think they know everything, but he's on the money with this pretty much.
Who is Pachter anyway? Is he like a respected analyst?
Well, you just typed his name into Google and there were some suggestions, which leads me to believe he is someone.
Pachter stated that given the initial pricing of the Switch and the selection of games at launch, the new Nintendo console will have a hard time competing against the PS4 and Xbox One, which are both frequently discounted below $300 and most bundles come with a free game.
Rounding up his analysis, Pachter said that even though the console has a promising slate of first-party games, if third-party support from companies like EA and Bethesda start to drop off, then the Switch could end up being another Wii U.
The thing about the pricing, he is right, and if you look at the price of the console in the US versus the UK or anywhere else like Canada or Australia, it looks like they've hiked the price up around the world. But if you consider the fact that the US price is without tax, and they add on something like 8 to 10% tax after the displayed RRP, then it kind of balances out a little bit. But still, the accessories like the Joy-Con and all that shit, they just hike. The game's like £60 each and things like that. It's like, what the f*** are they on it at Nintendo? I'm excited to try the Switch. I think the concept is a solid one. The fact that you can play at home, the fact that you take it on the go, it's great. And it's great to see companies like this trying to push the envelope and bring something new to the industry. So well done, Nintendo, on that. But get your shit together, dudes. It's just far too expensive. And in other news this week, Apple have decided to hike up the price of apps in the UK store to match how much they cost in the US store. The apps will cost the same amount numerically on both the UK and US stores. This means that an app that was 79 pence in the UK will now be 99 pence to match the US store's 99 cents. Super Mario Run was £7.99, but now it will cost £9.99 and other games will have followed suit. This, of course, in response to the Brexit decision that we took last year. So,
we all took that decision. This price increase comes not long after Apple decided to raise the prices on iPhones, MacBooks and iMacs. That's right, if you're in the UK, you now have to pay more for apps and hardware as far as Apple is concerned.
And finally this week, some interesting numbers have emerged indicating how far Sony are ahead in the console war. As much as you want to deny that it's actually a war, there is a console war.
Yeah, it's not a comments war, it's a corporate war. It's a business battle. Calling it a console war is lame. I very much feel that. But that's just what it's called. That is just how it's referred to, and that is how you know what we're talking about. When we say console war, you know we talk Xbox versus PlayStation. It's like Brexit, that's a shit word, but we have to keep saying that.
Ars Technica have reported that industry analysts' Superdata indicate that the PS4 has now outsold the Xbox by 2-1. Superdata says that Xbox One has an installed user base of 26 million units, which isn't too bad, but that figure is dwarfed by the PS4's 55 million unit install base. Reports from Ars Technica, as well as leaked figures from EA, back up these reports, and the figures suggest that the Xbox One has sold 50 to 52% of the amount of PS4s sold. These numbers should be taken with a grain of salt, however, as Sony publicly released the sales figures for their consoles, whereas Microsoft have not revealed any sales data for the Xbox brand for a couple of years now. That's because they're doing so shit.
Yeah, something that Liam pointed out as well, when the 360 was doing really well, they couldn't stop shouting about it. They were like, oh, the Xbox, we've sold this many million units in this quarter alone. Now we're not getting any of that. We're just silence.
So that's because the sulking is why it is, obviously.
There is some concern about Microsoft's games lineup for 2017, with very few exclusives when you compare it to PlayStation 4, which we all love doing. With the recent cancellation of Scalebound, many have been left wondering what Microsoft actually has to offer now outside of Halo, Gears of War and Forza. But this isn't as bad for Xbox as people like us like to make out. Third-party support remains strong on the Xbox One, so there is no shortage of games for the system. Microsoft has also outlined their continued commitment to Xbox, and with the Scorpio, which is due out sometime this year, Microsoft isn't going to drop the platform anytime soon. There's just no reason to believe that Microsoft will be closing shop on this generation just because of some mild sales and the fact that Crackdown 3 is basically the biggest game on Xbox in the last year or so.
So it's that time again, guys. This is the Saturday show, so it's time to delve into the comments and see what you've been saying about our videos this week.
The dark, dark depths of the comments.
Highly filtered, obviously.
Not really, yeah. It's just the glistening surface is what we're looking at. First up, commenting on the physical discs video from this week, Unplugged Gaming says, I just got the gist of this video. Fuck EA.
Yeah, that was the subtext that were like,
Yeah.
it was the subliminal message that we put in there. Well done for picking
Which
that one
is,
up.
interestingly, in all of our videos, pretty much.
Next up, a comment on our old games video. CMDR Metasploit comments, builds a $2,000 PC, determines today's games are all rehashed crap. Now spends most time playing Baldur's Gate SOA with tears and regret.
Yeah. I bet it runs really well, though. Mr. Badass 1998 commented on last week's Saturday show, "Lol, did I hear right? Collector's edition and you don't get the game?" You heard right. It is one of the worst examples of like a collector's edition we've seen. And it's definitely happened before. I can't quite remember what it was, but, where you've got to buy this, the tat.
Yeah, it
separately
was
to
Watch
the
Dogs 2, wasn't it? Where you like a wrenched in your robot or something without a copy
without
of
the game. So that was our Randy News Roundup for this week. What's your favourite bit of battle pornography? Let us know down in the comments with links. We'd love to see that.
That's staying in. That's staying in.
Remember to leave a like and subscribe if you enjoyed the video. Do check out more of our content right here. Thanks a lot for watching. We'll see you next time.